One. Welcome to Walk the Line. Well, I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, giving you the Dynasty Madden League Week 17 picks. I know it's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I was on vacation, enjoying that beautiful weather out there in South Beach. But we're bringing you a Week 17 show, man. And I'm glad to introduce and have a new voice on here, my co-host, Jay, the owner of the Seattle Seahawks. What's going on, Jay? All right, man. So it's week 17. Usually, around week 17, a lot of things is dying off in a bunch of leagues. But we got a very, very interesting, exciting week 17 in the DML because we have a lot of games that can make or break a couple guys' seasons. Put some guys, in the playoffs and also eliminate a couple other guys. But what's your thoughts so far, man, on your squad on this season? Mm-hmm. Okay. Man, so we ain't gonna hold the people up. Let's dive into these picks of this week 17. First up off the hand, we got Darkness and the Tennessee Titans versus Flair and those Pittsburgh Steelers. Alright, these is pretty much are both two teams that are pretty much prepping their squad and their organization for the off season. Looking at this Tennessee Titans roster, man, they are stacked at both sides of the field, and Darkness just can't seem to make everything gel together and produce a winning season. What do you think seems to be the problem out there in Tennessee? Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're gonna switch sides over to Flair and these Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers for the past from the beginning of the season up to this point, the beginning of the cycle up to this point, has had at least, let's say, four top three picks. Do you think that the crucial trading that the organization have did with trading away those top picks every single is the reason why this Pittsburgh Steelers team is sitting at 3-12 and they're suffering from not being able to actually fill those holes that was being created by guys hitting their age mark where they just can't produce no more, funds being tied up where they can't resign guys. Do you think that this organization is suffering from making those crucial trades in the beginning of the cycle and now it's coming back to bite them in the behind? Mm-hmm. 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 I agree. Now Vegas has the Tennessee Titans favored in this matchup by 4.5 points. Now with my pick, this is a no-brainer for me. I just think that the Tennessee Titans have more talent overall as far as the players on their squad, and I think Darkness stick skills is better than Flair. So my pick is a no-brainer. I'm taking Darkness and the Tennessee Titans getting a W. Now, with your pick, who you taking? So with the first pick of Week 17, we both agreeing with the Titans getting a W. But moving on, we got Taz and the Detroit Lions versus Hamilton and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, these two squads right here are they got some good key pieces. Both users seem to be able to put together some impressive wins, but Taz can't seem to shake the Mad MBS out there in Detroit, and the Minnesota Vikings just can't seem to shake the injury bug out there in Minnesota. What's your thoughts on this matchup right here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta agree, man, because this game right here is always entertaining because they definitely be going at each other in the chat, So I know that even though it's Week 17 and both of these guys are, are ending their season on a losing season, I believe that both organizations understand that this is a very important win because I know that neither one of these guys won't let this W slip through their hands. Vegas right now has the Vikings favored by 2.5 points in this matchup. With my pick, I'm definitely going to go with the home team on this one. I know the type of momentum that's heading into this game. I know Hamilton does not want to lose. Also, Taz does not want to lose. But I'm just going to stick with the home team, feeding off that home crowd energy, wanting to end the season on a good note. What's your pick on this matchup? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we split on this one. So hopefully Hamilton, you come out with that W, will prove me right, man. But moving on, we got our first game that can impact the playoffs on both sides, both conferences. You have Matty Ice, who's 12-3, who's pretty much fighting for playoff position. His playoff spot is locked in. And you have the Schemer, who's coming off of a crazy loss where his team couldn't seem to do anything right to the Washington Redskins. He's sitting at 9-5-1, and this could make or break his season. But this is a must win for the Schemer because if he wants to have some form of hope and everything can just line up right to where this New England Patriots team can get into the playoffs, this is the game that he must win. Now, last week, the Schemer and the Patriots couldn't do anything right. He had a total of 7 turnovers by his quarterback, throwing the ball pretty much just throwing pickles everywhere. The Redskins team was out there eating INT after INT after INT after INT. Entering this matchup, what type of motivation can the Schemer bring in such short notice? Because coming off of a loss like that, it's hard to shake, but he has to shake it. What type of motivation can the Schemer bring and to give some form of hope to this team and locking in this W against a tough opponent like Matty Ice and those Philadelphia Eagles? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and Vegas right now does not believe in the Patriots because they have the Eagles favored by 6, a large whopping 6 points on the road. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm just gonna go with pure stick skills. I don't think that the schemer matches Matty Ice and stick skills toe to toe. And like you said before, this is not gonna be a game that Matty Ice seems to sit his starters. He wants to keep that torch lit heading into the postseason, and I think this is gonna be a game where he's gonna come out and have his offense clicking and his defense clicking, and I think he's going to pull out the W on the road against the Patriots. But what's your pick, and what direction you going with it? So, me and my co-host Jay agree that the Eagles is going to end the New England Patriots season once again by losing the Week 17 matchup. The schemer, man, you got to find that motivation and try to put it together, man. Next up, moving on, we have Solomon Kane and the New York Jets versus Skill Trade and the Buffalo Bills. Now, man, listen. We have a Jets team that's in clearly rebuilding stage, and we have a Buffalo Bills team who we can't seem to understand what's going on out there. Some, skill trade these Bills seem to get and sneak out of a season with some impressive wins against some top tier users, but then, they just fall completely off the map. Is this Buffalo Bills team, is it patience time or is it panic time and they just need to just pack it up for Madden 20? What's going on out there in Buffalo? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and the thing about it right here, just to switch gears, this New York Jets team, I like how this New York Jets team foundation is built, but I can't seem to figure out if this is a pass first offense or a run first offense. I just can't seem to figure it out. But the main concern with me with this Jets team is protecting the quarterback. This quarterback has been sacked 41 times. That's not even including the quarterback, the hits on the quarterback. But he's been sacked a total of 41 times. You cannot expect, this is for every user in the DML, you cannot expect to come out and have a winning season, or winning your division or making a playoff run if you cannot protect your quarterback. And this is something that I think that come this off season, the New York Jets and that organization have to address this issue, or they will continue to repeat losing season after losing season after losing season. But Vegas, however, thinks that the Jets can pull it out, and they have them favored in this matchup by 1.5 points. I don't think I'm not going with Vegas on this one. I think they got it wrong. I seen how this Buffalo Bills front four can play on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that the Buffalo Bills defensive line will factor in on this game and get after that quarterback, causing turnovers. And I'm going with the Bills and skill trade getting the W, closing out the season. What's your thoughts on this one? Mm. Yeah, you better find some momentum, man. Put the chip on your shoulder, Solomon Kane and those Jets. Moving on, we have 85 and the New Orleans Saints versus Westside Pablo and New York Giants. Now, this game right here, man, just if you were to look at this game on the Week 17 card from Week 1, this would have been a very exciting game. But, how the Giants are playing is really not. Can we both agree on this right here, man? Just looking at the offensive weapons that this New York Giants team has with Odell Beckham, that freak of nature wide receiver, what's his name, Banham, that just seems to Ballman, just three seasons in the DML, he's already at a 99 overall. You have Saquon Barkley. You have what's the tight end that is out there in New York? You have Ingram out there. All these offensive weapons out there in New York, but they cannot seem to produce a winning season. They're sitting right now at 5-9. Can the New York Giants, be angry at their organization for not producing a winning season, with all this talent out there on the offensive side of the ball? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, man. You got the Saints on the other side of the card with that's just coming off a very impressive season. But this is nothing new that we've seen from Addy. But this is a question that the people has been asking me, and they want answers. Do you think that the question is, do you think that Addy is playing with a different type of momentum, and you think that he had a piece of humble pie last year, and now that fire and that ambition torch is lit again after winning three Super Bowls back to back? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, because Vegas right now thinks that he's going to come out, even with him sitting at 14-0 and possibly resting all his starters. Vegas still think that he's going to win this game by 14 points. Now, I think Vegas jumped through the roof with the point spread, but I definitely think that they got it right with this pick. I'm definitely taking the Saints. I don't care if he had, bench warmers out there playing. I just think that as far as, overall just stick talent, he's better than Westside Pablo. And the Giants, man, I want to just see this Giants team in the playoffs so bad, man, because that offense is crazy, man. But who you going with your pick? Yeah, so moving on, man. That was a no-brainer right there. We have B. Jeezy and the Baltimore Ravens versus my Cleveland Browns. Now, this game right here, I already knew what this game was going to be, what type of importance that this game was going to hold when the schedule released in the offseason. This game pretty much is going to come down to the division. Simple as that. Now, it can also determine who gets a playoff spot because I'm sitting at 9-5-1, and he's sitting, I believe, at 10-5. So this game can come down to who also wins the division and who also has a shot at getting still a wild card slot. But the Baltimore Ravens, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, this is one guy that I have to just tip my head off to because the moves that he made by rebuilding this defense out there in Baltimore is giving that atmosphere of when they had Ray Lewis, when they had Ed Reed, and the list just goes on and on and on. The type of guys that he's drafting, trading for, and developing is just good to see that this Baltimore's organization, is back to their winning ways. Even though he's my division mate, I still got to tip my head off. Now, in this game, flat out, I'm just going to tell you right now, I cannot turn the ball over. This Baltimore team is a team that loves to get after the quarterback, for one, causing pressure, and two, has a secondary that loves to create turnovers. I got to take care of the ball, and I got to get my offense going very early. If I seem to come out sluggish, this is going to be a very long day for my Cleveland Browns. But what's your thoughts on this matchup right here? Yeah, I'm telling you right now, he's he's come with an extra little motivation because he took, I believe, a some loss to my Cleveland Browns early this season. So I know he's bringing some extra fire, man. But with my pick, Vegas right now has surprisingly the Ravens favored by 2.5 points. But I'm never going to pick against myself. That's just flat out. I don't care who I play. So with this pick, I'm definitely going to take my Cleveland Browns, getting the W, man, getting back into the postseason because we missed those playoffs last year. That's still hurting. But what's your thoughts on and what's your pick on this game and what direction you going with it? Yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of those. It felt really exciting, man, because when you get to week 7 in a lot of different leagues, it's just, it's week 17. You know who's in the playoffs. We have a lot of very interesting games that can impact the playoffs. Even with some guys that's having a losing season, they can just upset some people to get into the playoffs. So it's very interesting, man. But moving on to this next game, which is another key game, even though one guy is having a losing season and the other guy is in the playoffs. So we have Eddie Forrest and these LA Chargers versus Kirk and the Green Bay Packers. Man, the Chargers right now are sitting at 10-5. They're not safe. They don't have a playoff spot secured. So even though he's facing a Green Bay Packers team who, seem to they're getting back to their winning ways. Running that rock and keeping that offensive line healthy, keeping their running back Colbert healthy. And are you buying into the Green Bay Packers and their offensive scheme of ground and pound and giving Colbert over 15 plus carries a game? Mm-hmm. Now, we got the Chargers who made one of the most remarkable trades in the DML by acquiring Rashard Bash with their already talented wide receiver core. Do entering this matchup, can feeding the beast distract you sometimes and cost you games in crucial moments, or do you think that by him just coming out just sticking to his regular style game plan, feed the beast, will secure him his playoff spot in the AFC? Or do you think that sometimes by you sitting here knowing the type of talent that you have, meaning Rashard Bass, by you overloading this guy and feeding him, has this game plan that Eddie Forrest and these Chargers has been playing all season, is this the reason why these guys right now are currently still on the verge of not making the playoffs, even though they're sitting at 10-5? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, we did. We definitely. If this team makes it to the playoffs, I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be my wild card right here. I'm telling you right now because this team, offensively and defensively are one of the most dangerous teams that nobody in the DML wants to play. I'm telling you that right now. So this is the team that I think that a lot of guys don't want. They don't want them to make it to the playoffs. So they're praying that Kirk and the Green Bay Packers can figure out how to give them a L in this matchup. But Vegas, however, thinks that Kirk and the Packers have no chance. So I'm taking it that Cobra injury is the reason why. Vegas has the Chargers favored by 7.5 points. With my pick, I definitely think that the Chargers and is going to pull this one out because I've seen how this Green Bay Packers team operates when Cobra goes down, and it's a totally different team. I'm taking that right now. So with my pick is a no-brainer. I'm taking the Chargers, getting a W, finishing the season off strong, and locking in a playoff spot. Who you got in this matchup? Okay. So we definitely gonna agree with this one. So moving on, we have the Boston and Chicago Bears versus KP and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, okay, we have two guys. Both teams secured their playoff spots. So the Chiefs really don't have nothing to play for. They're 15-0. But I just want to ask a question. You know, is this Kansas City Chiefs team, because we got KP in previous cycles he has been dominating. He dominated the DML, but this season, are we witnessing and are we getting a preview of what's to come from that old KP that's transitioning now over to Madden 19, or is this just a fluke off of his what KP says the strength of his schedule and him just having Madden luck, or are we not buying into it? Because I'm not buying into it. I'm telling you right now. I played against this Kansas City Chiefs team, and he might have some people fooled, but I'm not fooled at all. He's hitting that peak at the right time, heading into high stakes, and I'm seeing it right now with this Kansas City Chiefs team sitting at 15-0. But what's your thoughts on what I just said? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. one thing that this Bears and the Bus is going to have to figure out is one thing, because the beginning of this cycle, like I will stress the issue, man. That Chicago Bears team in the beginning of the cycle was very dangerous. And their offense was ground and pound. That's it. Just ground and pound. But I think that after watching the Bus, game on the offensive side of the ball, him focusing on the offensive side of the ball, it made him lose track of his defense, because this Bears defense, even though they're ranked 17th in points per game allowed, only giving up 23, I still think that's way too much from what they have came from in previous seasons. But I think by him focusing in on the offense and trying to figure out how to get that offense going, it made him lose track of his defense. This is a game that the Bears is going to have to figure out how to slow down this Kansas City Chiefs offense. Now, he better pray and hope and cross his fingers that KP is resting his starters. But do you think that even though you're sitting 16-0, you're going to get that by you having that first round bye, is this a game that you want to put your starters in just so you don't lose that fire, that momentum, or you just say, hey, heck it, my playoff spot is locked, I got home field advantage throughout the playoffs, I'm going to rest my guys? Got you. So Vegas right now thinks that the Bears is going to pull it out. They have them favored by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. I think KP is going to come out and just rest his starters, and the Bus is going to come out playing like this pretty much is a playoff game. And I'm taking him to get the W going into the postseason with some momentum. What's your thoughts and what's your pick on this game? Okay. Moving on, we got Expert in the Jacksonville Jaguars versus SJ in the Houston Texans. Now, this game right here, first off, and most importantly, it's a divisional battle. First of all, then you have Expert coming off of tying game against the division mate Marizi and those Colts. Now, Expert right now has the number 2 spot in the AFC. SJ, however, is on the outside looking in on the bubble of a wild card slot. Now, with a loss and a win in the wrong place or the right place, they can swap spots. Meaning, my fault. Yep, I'm meaning SJ can get the division, and an Expert can swap on to somehow, some way, randomly get in the playoff spot. Now, SJ couldn't seem to figure out how to stop the Jacksonville Jaguars in the beginning half of the season. Do you think that entering this matchup, the Jacksonville Jaguars should come out with the same exact game plan that executed them a win in the early half of the season, or sprinkling and switch up little things to hit SJ by surprise? Mm-hmm. Yeah, with this game right here, man, I'm just here right now, it's going to come down to who can stop what the user likes to do. Because these are two guys, like you said, have been playing each other so much that they know at what point in time of the game where they're going to pull out their money plays, what the money plays is, what type of routes they like to adjust to, who are they looking for their first read, what to take away. This is going to come down to who can stop what each user likes to do. And in this matchup, Vegas right now thinks that the Houston Texans, however, can pull out this W because they have them favored by 1.5 points. Now, my gut right now is telling me to go with Expert and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I want to put that chip on Expert's shoulders. Because don't get me wrong, Expert's my guy. Expert is very humble, but I want to see that Expert that, listen, I'm better than you. I'm going to beat you. And that's just that. That's the type of Expert I want to see. And I want to put that chip on his shoulder, hopefully bringing that fire into his matchup. So with my pick, I want to take SJ and the Houston Texans, getting the W in, possibly securing them a postseason spot. What's your thoughts on who you're going with your pick? Okay. Let's see who's going to lock in that playoff spot. Moving on, we got the LA Rams, King Vitamin, versus your Seattle Seahawks. Now, we got a playoff spot, which is secured. I want to just ask you flat out honestly, is this a must-win game for the Seattle Seahawks? Even though y'all have a playoff spot secured, do y'all want to come out and win this game and just have one home postseason game? Or is this just a game that you like, you know what, I'm going to come out, try some things out, some things for the playoffs, put together some stuff that some guys haven't seen yet so I can pull out in the playoffs, or it was just another game? Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this 100%. Even though this Los Angeles Rams team and King Vitamin is sitting at 500 on the season, this is a guy that if you allow him to hang around and get things going, he will put a hurting on you, just flat out. But in this matchup, I really can't see that because this Seattle Seahawks team right now is just, they have too much on the line. And Vegas seems to agree with that because Vegas has the Seattle Seahawks team favored by 5.5 points. So with my pick, I'm definitely thinking that your Seahawks is going to pull it out. You got the home crowd, you got the momentum, and y'all have the key pieces. I just think that this LA Rams team just don't have enough as far as the coaching staff, the play calling, or just the talent on the roster. So it's a no-brainer. I'm taking the Seahawks getting the W. I already know. What's your pick on this matchup right here? That's a good pick. So moving on. Yeah, that was a simple pick right there. And I already knew that was coming in. But moving on, we got a game in my opinion that really doesn't seem to mean that much. So we're not gonna spend too much time on it. But we got C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers versus T-Pain and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, T-Pain and the Bucks, man. I was like, listen, the moves that he made last season, I thought like, wow, this is gonna be the breakout season for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They got the offensive line, they got the run game, they got the wide receiver core, they got the secondary, they got the line. Everything just lined up perfectly for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. But clearly, the plan has just turned to shit, just flat out. And then you have C-Rob with the Panthers, who made a playoff appearance, a couple playoff appearances, and now just seems to just fell off. But Vegas right now, with their pick, they're thinking that C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers are more talented than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so they think that the Panthers was going to pull it out, and they had them favored by 4.5 points. Now, I like this matchup right here because it's still an interesting game. Because C-Rob is a funny guy, man. And T-Pain, Mr. Melt the mic down, he's a funny guy also. So I know this is going to be an exciting game, even though both guys are on a losing season. But with my pick, I'm definitely going to take C-Rob because I just think that, the Panthers just have more talent as far as, stick skills and roster talent. So with my pick, I'm taking the Carolina Panthers. But what's your thoughts on this game? So moving on, we got JB, the Denver Broncos versus tight working the Miami Dolphins. Now this game right here is, I'm going to run as a trap game. It's a trap game, flat out. This is my trap game right here. Because you have JB and the Denver Broncos. When they're not getting BS'd around by Madden, this is a very dangerous team. Then you have tight work, who this season, man, the consistency has not been there. I don't think that, in my opinion, just looking at this Miami Dolphins team, they're not one of those teams in the regular season that want to come out and look real flashy. They're just a team that wants to get enough wins to get them to the playoffs, and I think that's when their real season starts. But I'm still labeling this as a trap game because depending on what JB we get in this matchup, this could be a very dangerous game for the Miami Dolphins. But we have the Miami Dolphins right now. They're sitting at 9-6. They're holding down that last slot right now, currently in the wild card. Do you think that JB has enough to pull this off and potentially in the defending Miami Dolphins, the current champions right now, end their season early and send them home and have them sitting on the couch with a big bag of chips and a nice cold soda? Yeah, that's the first thing I was going to say to you. It just seemed like the Denver Broncos come out, play you hard the first two quarters, and at the halftime, it's like Space Jam. They lose their special juice, and they just flat out disappear, man. So this is a no-brainer for me, even though Vegas has, the Miami Dolphins fear about 4.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right, and I definitely think that it's going to be, a big win for the Miami Dolphins. Coming in with that momentum that they want to get back to their winning ways and want to show people that the regular season it matters, but the postseason where it really counts at. So my pick, I'm taking the Dolphins, locking in a W. Who you got? What's your pick on this one? All right, moving on. Next up, we have under 2 rated in the Washington Redskins versus HBO and the Dallas Cowboys. This game right here, man. HBO can't seem to get the quarterback question mark from over Dallas. Drafted about 30 different quarterbacks. Nobody seemed to work. Even with all the talent out there, the most dynamic wide receiver duo that we will probably have to witness to date in the DML with Joseph Myers and Rashard Bass before he traded him. And you have under 2 rated with the Washington Redskins, who have one of the most dangerous secondaries in the DML on paper. Let me rephrase, on paper. Even though last week they caused 7 turnovers, both teams just can't seem to figure out how to use their talent. But Vegas, I'm not gonna spend no time on this right here. Vegas has the Redskins favored on the road by 1.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. The Washington Redskins, in my opinion, is just a better organization than the Dallas Cowboys. And I think Under 2 Rated has more talent on the sticks than HBO. So what's your thoughts on this game and who you picking? All right, so we split choices on that one, man. So let's see who's gonna pull it out. Moving on, we have the big homie and the Cincinnati Bengals versus Tone Dog and those Oakland Raiders. Now, listen, to me, I'm telling everybody right now, this Oakland Raiders organization has not been the same since they lost two key players for out there with the organization tricking, because they tricking like they ain't got it. I mean, they out there spending money, checks was bouncing, they was gambling, they moved to Las Vegas, and things just went downhill. You know, this organization right now is in a total rebuilding stage, and come high stakes, I think that this is going to be a dominant, team that nobody wants to face. But as of right now, this organization is just all over the place. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, the big homie, man, listen to me, dog. You are one of those guys, man, that I play every season. That when I come in, I play you. I don't know. I'm curious on what user I'm going to get. Meaning, the one guy that's going to come out, play me tough those first 3 quarters actually, and then that guy that's just going to come out and just throw the ball in triple coverage, double coverage, and I don't be understanding what you be looking at. Even though we know we playing a horrible game, and we deal with a lot of the Madden BS. Some of that stuff, man, just be like, what are you doing? I remember one time I played you threw the ball, and it was like 4 of my defenders against 5'9", 5'10" wide receiver. It was like, for real? Okay. But in this game right here, man, Vegas thinks that the Oakland Raiders are going to blow the hinges off the Cincinnati Bengals door. They had them favored by 10 points. I think with this game right here, man, it's going to come down to who wants it the most, And the Cincinnati Bengals right now, talent-wise, their roster is better. But when it comes down to stick skills, I think Tone Dog has the big homie. And with my pick, I'm taking with the 10 points, the Oakland Raiders getting a blowout win, closing out their season at home, getting that victory. What's your thoughts on this game and who you picking? Okay, so we got the Raiders on this matchup. Moving on, we got the commish, Nancy Luke, and those Atlanta Falcons versus Louisiana Colts. Now, this Falcons team, with the Sack brothers out there in Atlanta, that just seems to, put fear in any quarterback that's coming up against them. Even though this Atlanta team, is on the verge of, in my opinion, scratching the surface of that ceiling, heading into high stakes season, do you think that the people is just not buying the hype in Atlanta, man? It's just, okay, we understand the Sack brothers is out there, but other than that, it's nothing really out there in Atlanta that's interesting. And do you think that they just saying that this is a team that, They had the Sack brothers. They getting that pressure. They're tearing the quarterbacks up. But this is a team that is a bottom tier team in the DML, or you think that this is a team that can, break that ceiling and become high stakes? One of these teams that can lock Nancy Noop a secure top 8, top 10 pick in the DML draft for the teams in Madden 20? Or you think that this will be another year that the Atlanta Falcons just be one of those teams that draft good people and just pretty much fall off the map? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game right here, I'm saying right now, even though Vegas has the Atlanta Falcons favored by 5.5 points, I definitely think that this game is going to come down to who could just flat out stick to the game plan, and not get distracted, because they definitely was doing a whole lot of trash talking in the chat. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes down to that trash talking and you're facing that user that's on the other side of that trash talk, you come out and tend to be very aggressive and get outside of your game plan because you're trying to go out the donuts and the nuggets, flat out. You trying to give out some extra ones on the side. So I think that, Nasty Newt, like you mentioned, man, he has to get back to what was working. And that ground and pound game was working out there in Atlanta, because what he was doing was he was, grounding and pounding, and then when guys was coming up and stacking that box, he was hitting you over the top with that play action. So I think that he just has to get focused, man, locked in, because we all know on the defensive side of the ball what is the key to being a good defense, and that's getting pressure, flat out. You can have a horrible secondary, but if you have two guys or a front four that can get pressure on the quarterback, your defense will be good. That's just flat out. But in this matchup, I think that, Nancy Noop and Atlanta Falcons is going to pull out the W, because he's going to take heed to what we tell him to do. We give him a little free chicken, so lick your fingers, Nasty Noop, and get back to what me and Jay just mentioned. Ground and pound, and then sprinkling that play action over the top. So my pick, I'm taking the Falcons, getting the W. But who's going to be your pick, and what direction you going in? Mm-mm. Okay, so we both agreed on this one. Well, moving on, we got man, AJ and the Arizona Cardinals versus Sweet 99 and those San Francisco 49ers. This is a game right here. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling Sweets 99 right now. Bench all of your starters. You have a playoff spot locked up. We know how that San Francisco 49ers organization team gets when it comes postseason. You start blowing those guys away, they just start dropping off like flies. Listen, rest everybody, get them some milk, get them their vitamins, get them a good meal. Just sit the starters, please. Do not bring these guys out, because I'm telling you, somebody's going to get hurt. You know, Every single season, heading into the postseason, you lose a key guy, whether it's a week before or in the postseason. Rest your guys, man. AJ, you came into the DML. You had an okay rookie season. You're sitting at 7-7. This is a game right here, flat out. It's a statement game that lets your division mates know that you're here to ball out. This is a game that you want to finish. This is a game that you want to finish your season off strong with. You're on the road. You're facing a division mate. Just go out and ball out. But Vegas thinks the San Francisco 49ers is going to pull this one out. They have them favored by 7 points. I think, looking at this matchup, if Sweets plays his starters, he's going to pull this one out. Hands down, flat out. But if he takes my advice and rests his guys due to the fact that he don't want to lose nobody, I think the Cardinals can pull it out. But however, man, I don't think Sweets is going to rest his starters. I think Sweets is going to come out and pretty much put his guys out there to carry some momentum heading into the postseason. So with my pick, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers, getting a W, going into the postseason with some fire. What's your thoughts on this matchup and who you picking? Okay, man, so we split ways. The Cardinals got a lot of pressure on you, man. You got some people that's depending on you. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, man, with my co-host Jay, man. I appreciate you jumping on the show, man. It was very good. For the guys that's tuning in, drop a comment. Let us know who you think is going to pull out these upset wins, who's going to be knocked off sitting on the couch real early. That was us giving y'all our golden picks for Week 17. We out. All right, man. I'm gonna start working on getting it out right now, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, that we brought that fire on that one. I ain't even gonna lie. That was a good one. All right, I'm gonna lock you in. I'm gonna lock you in for a slot. If you're available for Road to Greatness, I'll lock you in a slot for that because I just like that fire you brought on this one. All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. David, what's up?
Yo, Chris, I just wanted to ask you real quick. My check went to 56th Street.
Ron
told me I had to put a request in for it to go down there to you.
Did you put? You said you put a request in with me?
No, Ron told me I had to. I forgot to tell you earlier this week and stuff.
But then no, that joint probably not. It's probably not in there. Let me hold on. Let me give you a call right back. I'm about to go to my car and check the check pile.
All right, bet.
All right.